Hello everyone, I'm here with Eevee today. We're going to read The Princess and the Pizza for Kitty Cat Storytime today. It's by Mary Jane and Herm Och. The Princess and the Pizza. Princess Polydina needed a job. Her father had given up on his throne to become a woodcarver and moved them to the humble shack in the neighboring kingdom. Since the king was still learning, his carvings didn't sell, and Paulina's garden barely kept enough on the table. Paulina missed princessing. She missed walking the peacock in the royal garden, surveying the kingdom from the castle tower, and doing the princess wave in the royal procession. Paulina tried walking a stray chicken around her shack, but it only pecked at her bare toes. Surveying the kingdom from the shack's leaky roof made even more holes. She tried princess waving to the townspeople from her father's cart, but nobody bothered to wave back. They just thought she was swatting at flies. One day, a page rolled by the shack announcing that the Queen Zelda of Blum was seeking a true princess to become the bride of her son, Prince Drupert. "This is my chance to get back to princessing," Paulina cried. She rummaged through her trunk of ex-princess stuff, brushed the wood shavings from her best ball gown, and blew away the bits of sawdust that clung to her diamond tiara. Then she tucked a piece of garlic into her bodice for good luck, snipped some fragrant herbs to cover up the garlic smell, and headed for the castle. So she put garlic in her shirt for good luck and some herbs to hide the smell of garlic, because if you've ever smelled garlic, it's pretty strong. I wonder why she did that. Paulina didn't expect much from the competition. There wasn't another princess for hundreds of miles, but when she got to Blum Castle, Paulina found she was only one of 12 princesses hoping to become the royal bride. When she looked into her assigned room, Paulina saw a bed piled with 16 mattresses. "Oh, for Pete's sake," the old princess and the Pete trick. "That's so once upon a time." Naturally, Paulina didn't sleep all night because she felt that lumpy pee through all of the mattresses. That's an old fairy tale where the princess, and only a princess, can feel if there's a pea, tiny little pea vegetable, under all of those mattresses. And of course, she can feel it. When the 12 princesses gathered in the throne room the next morning, the 7 who looked bright-eyed were sent home, meaning that they slept all night and couldn't feel that pee on the mattress. Now only Paulina and 4 other sleepy princesses were remaining, so there's 5 left. First, they were made to write essays entitled "Why I Want to Have the Gracious and Exquisitely Beautiful Queen Zelda for My Mother-in-Law." Prince Drupert and Queen Zelda finally appeared on the balcony. Queen Zelda did all the talking. "Congratulations, ladies! You have written some lovely essays, which I will keep in my scrapbook, and you have all passed the mattress test. But to make absolutely sure you are of royal blood, there is a second test. Only a true princess can wear these glass slippers." "Oh, for Pete's sake, you never heard of sneakers?" Paulina asked. Queen Zelda gave Paulina a sharp look. "Nobody said you had to hike in them. Just try them on." More tests to see who the real princess is. After the royal page made his way around the room with the slippers, 2 big-footed princesses remained. One was followed around with 7 strange little men, and the other had such a long braid dragging behind her, Paulina kept tripping over it. Who do you think those princesses were? The one with 7 little men? Snow White and the 7 dwarves, right? And the one with the long hair, which princess is that? Rapunzel. "Oh, for Pete's sake, haven't you ever heard of scissors?" Paulina cried. Queen Zelda glared at Paulina. "You have all passed the second princess test. Your final task is to cook a feast that proves you are worthy of being my dear Rupert's wife." So now she has to cook something. This set up a wail amongst the princesses, especially Paulina. "Oh, for Pete's sake, you have no royal chef?" "Silence," said the queen. "The table holds the makings for 3 fine feasts. Choose well, for the winner will become my dear Drupert's bride." As Paulina started for the table, the long-haired princess tripped her, then loaded up with food. By the time Paulina got there, the 7 strange little men had run off with everything but some flour, yeast, water, and 3 overripe tomatoes, and a hunk of stale cheese. "Hey, that's not fair! Queen Zelda, will you help me?" "No," said the queen, "because you have a big mouth." So she didn't get any good ingredients. I wonder what she's going to try to make. A servant escorted Paulina to her room and locked the door. "Hey, how can I cook without a bowl or spoons or pots?" There was no reply. Paulina tried to make bread, kneading the flour and water and yeast together, but it only stuck to the tray in the flattened mess. She squished the tomatoes over the dough to brighten it up, but it looked awful. She sprinkled cheese gratings over the top. It was still a mess, and Paulina was exhausted. "Oh, for Pete's sake, where's your fairy godmother when you need it?" "I'm going to take a nap." She reached under the pile of mattresses, pulled out the offending pea, and climbed into bed. So she threw everything together. It made such a huge mess, and she decided to just take a nap instead. She hadn't been sleeping long when there was a knock at the door. "Only 20 minutes left," called the queen. "I don't smell anything cooking." "I'm not cooking," said Paulina. "I'm napping, and then I'm going home." "You're not going anywhere," said the queen. "The losers will be beheaded." Paulina sat right up. "Beheaded? You didn't tell us that." "Oh, I forgot." "Can't I have a second chance? How about I try to spin straw into gold? Or maybe I could guess a weird little man's name?" "No second chances," said the queen. "But that's not fair," Paulina cried. "Who needs to be fair? I'm the queen." So she has to make something. Otherwise, she gets beheaded, which means quick. Uh-oh. Paulina leaped out of bed and ran to the window. It was an unbelievably long drop to the ground. The meal was her only hope. She rushed the tray over to the fireplace, stirred in the few remaining hot coals, and then crushed up her garlic and sprinkled it over the mess for good luck. Finally, Paulina tossed the herbs on to cover up the garlic smell. Remember the garlic and the herbs she had for good luck? She put those on too. I hope it works. Paulina paced back and forth, planning her escape. Perhaps she could make a deal with the long-haired princess to climb down her braid. She didn't notice that the goopy dough had browned into the crust, and the tomatoes were bubbling, and hard bits of cheese had melted, and the fragrance of garlic and herbs filled the room. A page opened the door. "Time is up." Paulina took a deep breath and carried her tray into the great dining room. What does it look like she made? Some kind of a pizza. The other princesses had made lovely feasts, especially the one who had the 7 strange little men to help her. Prince Drupert went right to Paulina's tray. "It's not pretty, but it smells scrumptious." He helped himself to an unusually generous piece. "What do you call this dish?" Paulina shrugged. "I don't know." "It can't be an official entry in the contest if it doesn't have a name," said the queen. "Oh, for Pete's sake," Paulina muttered. "What was that?" snapped the queen. "Pete's what?" Remembering the beheading thread, Paulina frantically tried to think of a name. "It's Pete's, Pizza?" The queen took a big bite. "Odd name, but it's tasty. The winner is Paulina's Pizza." "You mean I won't be beheaded?" "I was only kidding about the beheading," said the queen. "Then I was only kidding about wanting to marry Prince Drupert. Who needs him? I have other plans," said Paulina. "Will you leave your recipe?" said the queen. "No way," said Paulina. "It's just become a family secret." She headed for the door. I liked you best, whined the queen, following close behind. Oh, for Pete's sake, muttered Paulina as she stomped across the drawbridge. So she won, but she decided she didn't want to marry that prince after all. What do you think her new plan is going to be? Princess Paulina's Pizza Palace opened a few weeks later. It featured unusual carved furniture and 50 kinds of pizza. Every Thursday on the royal chef's night off, Queen Zelda and Prince Rupert came to Paulina's for popcorn pineapple pizza. They often stayed to play cards with Paulina's father. The sign says, today's special, butterscotch broccoli, chocolate chicken, pickled parsnip, rosemary rhubarb, and avocado apricot. Ugh. Those must be some of her flavors of her pizza. From then on, whenever Paulina drove her pizza delivery cart through town, doing the princess wave, everyone waved back and ran after her, asking about the day's specials. Life was good. Paulina was grateful not to have Queen Zelda for a mother-in-law, but she's still worried about one little thing. Look how she's getting the horse to walk. She's dangling pizza in front of it. She worried about getting Queen Zelda as her stepmother. That's her dad with Queen Zelda. Uh-oh. So I hope you enjoyed this silly book for Kitty Cat Storytime today with Eevee and me, the princess and the pizza. See you guys in the next video. Bye!